I'm super excited to be here today to be able to meet more local government leaders from across the country, but also to really engage young people in the decision-making process that happens in different places too.
It's my first year attending ICMA, and I'm really excited to meet everybody and listen in on some great sessions.
This is the best professional learning experience that I have every year. I can't wait to learn, see people, and engage.
And we come to ICMA to bring you the very best of the biggest global gathering of those committed to local government management. Welcome back to our fourth and final day of ICMA 2024 and ICMA TV. I'm Autria Godfrey, back with you in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this year. It has been an incredible 4 days of learning, inspiration, networking, and fun. And today, we can't wait to see what the future holds. Our focus today turns to the next generation.
I was first originally interested in law school, and I was unaware of the impact that local government professionals make in this field. So I really connected with this field on a personal level once I found out about their impact.
The ICMA Student Chapters are flourishing thanks to university students like Zamaria Ball. We'll find out what's happening on college campuses nationwide.
But the idea here is, it's not about paying people more money, it's not about inflating titles or giving everybody a trophy. We know those things don't work. What actually works is seeking to understand and create individually with those people so that you can drive those results. And that's what understanding generations allows you to do. It really gives you a head start.
Bridging the gap across the generational divide, renowned speaker and research guru Jason Dorsey takes us beyond his keynote address. We find out his top tactics for getting through to those outside your age group.
They are planning right now for the return of veterans. You know, large municipalities, tens of thousands are coming back, all the way down to smaller municipalities that may have 5 or 10. But it is a huge problem, and you know, they're fighting a war at the same time. So it's to say it's challenging would be an understatement.
And a remarkable partnership with our allies in the Ukraine. How the ICMA is working to get soldiers reintegrated into their local communities. And finally, we finish up our tour of the local governments gaining new ground in their communities with stops along the West Coast today. We are packing a punch on our last day in Pittsburgh, and there are plenty of ways for you to watch. You can find the latest ICMA TV episodes airing on the TVs placed throughout the Convention Center, on the homepage of the ICMA meeting website, right on your device on the ICMA conference app, and on all of our social media channels, so make sure that you like and subscribe. As we kick off our focus on the next generation of local leaders, we are thrilled to highlight how ICMA student chapters attract and cultivate a talented group of individuals dedicated to the future of the local management profession.
I was first originally interested in law school, and I was unaware of the impact that local government professionals make in this field, but I sat on a panel in undergrad with the department chair of our Georgia Southern Department of Public and Nonprofit Studies, where we kind of discussed strategic planning in the department, and he was like, you got accepted into the program, and I'm like, what program? Had no idea, and so I went and talked to him in his office, and he kind of really explained to me what an MPA was and the effects that you can make, and I've honestly just fell in love with local government and being able to see the direct impact that individuals have in the field. The Next Generation Initiative is an initiative that focuses on the upcoming students and upcoming individuals. As you know, a lot of older people in this field are starting to fade away, so it really kind of pushes the next generation to take initiative into this program and in this field. I would say some of the biggest issues in local government right now would be wicked problems. Wicked problems are problems that are multifaceted, things like poverty, housing, and things of that initiative. It's really hard to come up with one solution for that because it's different in whatever area you are and the impact is different. So I really feel like it's really hard to actually tackle those problems. So I say my ideal job is that I want to be a city manager at some point, but I also think that I kind of just want to get my foot in the field, so I'm kind of open to trying different things, like maybe finance, community development, or economic development, but I would say my end goal is to be a city manager.
Our first first featured city today takes us to Salinas, California, home to the California Rodeo, California International Air Show, and the world-famous Steinbach Festival. Let's see how this colorful and diverse city offers a combination of natural resources and economic opportunities to its residents.
Salinas has a rich history of agriculture, and it really met a boom of its industry of agriculture in the late 1890s, early 1900s. Part of it was the railroad. We had a train stop here in Salinas. So it allowed us to be able to really have a thriving economy.
We're a medium to large size city, but it feels like a family. You go down the street, you go to the farmer's market, and you bump into somebody you know. It's inevitable, and so that's a unique element to our community.
It's 80% Latino, Hispanic, Mexican. It's a very young city. Under 30% is 18 or younger. So that leads to a lot of the things that Salinas does. The future of Salinas is innovative and thriving, but we only get there sitting side by side with our residents in our community.
As the next generation of local government managers join the workforce, how do we make sure that we are bridging the generational divide? Jason Dorsey, president of the Center for Generational Kinetics and renowned author and speaker, is here in studio to break down for us how we can break down the divide. Pleasure to have you today.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
All right, let's get started with what are generational kinetics?
At our research firm, what we study is why generations do the things they do. You know, most of the data in the world is what we call tracking data. Okay. It's telling us what happened, right? Did somebody buy something? Did they apply for a job? Did they leave a job? What we care about is why did they do that, or why did they not? Because if we can understand those behaviors, then we can better drive the engagement and the outcomes that we want. So we study generations through a variety of lenses to really sort of separate myth from truth, and we do it all around the world. And it's a ton of fun because when you study every generation, you create a lot more of that context. And when we think about the term generational kinetics, what that really means is how do different generations interact with one another? And that's what leaders need to know today, especially when we think about city or county government. I mean, it's so important for them to get this right.
Right, because you're really talking about a wide range of ages when you're talking about local government.
When we think about local government, it's an interesting situation. Not only are there 4 generations presently in their workforce, and we see this all over the country and even around the world, but the stakeholders they serve, if you really think about sort of constituents, represent every single generation. I mean, literally from the youngest to the oldest, they serve every day. So generations not only is an opportunity and a challenge internally in the organization, but externally in terms of all of those that they seek to serve.
Something I found interesting during your keynote is you mentioned that when you cover up the labels of who belongs to which generation, that it's actually Gen Z and baby boomers that are the most alike? That's
true, yeah, it's absolutely true. I wrote a book called Z-Economy, where we really dove deep into understanding Gen Z coming of age, studying parenting, technology, all the things that shape them. And what we found from a value standpoint, much of what Gen Z wants actually looks like baby boomers. They care deeply about social causes. They think they're gonna have to work forever. They wanna know about their benefits. They're seeking stability. They're savers. I'm gonna go through this whole long list. So on paper, Gen Z looks very similar to baby boomers. Now, where does it get different? Well, they have a different relationship with technology, of course. They've had some different defining moments, of course. But if you go underneath that, there's a lot of similarity. And what we see is that organizations working very hard to recruit Gen Z right now because of the impact that the generation's already having.
Really fascinating. All right, so what have you found are some of the biggest workplace issues that are a result of this wide age range?
The biggest issue that we see is leaders and managers tend to take a one-size-fits-all approach. Okay. And there's reasons people have done that, right? It's easier, it's efficient, it's all these things. But the problem is the people who frequently develop that one-size-fits-all approach are not actually the ones that they're trying to engage with that, right? And so people like to communicate and lead in the way that they want to be communicated with or the way they want to be led. The problem is it just looks different. So I'll give you an example. We know that many people want to give feedback annually, like an annual review, maybe quarterly, things like that. What our research shows is to keep younger generations deeply engaged and loyal, they need much more frequent feedback. Now, interestingly, it doesn't mean they need more feedback. That's a myth. They just need smaller bites more frequently. So 15 seconds once a week drives the same outcome as these much longer engagements later on. But the idea here is it's not about paying people more money. It's not about inflating titles or giving everybody a trophy. We know those things don't work. What actually works is seeking to understand and create individually with those people so that you can drive those results. And that's what understanding generations allows you to do. Really gives you a head start.
All right, final question for you. The biggest piece of advice you can give for managers, employers to try and create a happy, cohesive workplace environment?
What I would do is create what's called a generational snapshot. And what that that means is you take your workforce or your team or whoever you lead and you create a generational composition or pie chart. And the reason why is most people, and it's just through how we all are, well, I'm guilty of it too, our view of the world doesn't necessarily match reality. So when you create this pie chart that shows you the percentage of each generation in your workforce today, what you can then look at is how you communicate. You can look at your technology, you can look at your incentives, your benefits, and go, does this really match the people in my workforce today? And then the bonus answer is, if you take that same pie chart and you look at it 2 years from now, just predict out into the future, it gets really exciting because then usually you have a lot more Gen Zers and millennials, and then are you aligned as well? So it's important to ground yourself in reality first, look at the generations you have, see, am I aligned, am I delivering what they need in the way that they want? And once you've done that, then you can really build on that momentum.
Awesome advice. This is so fascinating. I feel like I could talk to you all day long. Thank you so much. This has been great. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It's been an honor.
Sedro-Woolley, Washington sits snugly between Seattle and Vancouver, British Columbia. Also known as the gateway to the North Cascades, this growing community offers a vibrant economy, high quality of life, and a strong vision for the future.
The city of Sedro-Woolley sits right at the foothills of the Cascades. It's gorgeous. We usually are the first to receive the snow, the frost, and the fall of the year. It's wonderful. But Sedro-Woolley is also known, or should I say little known, for its technology. There has been cutting-edge technology happening here for over 100 years.
The city of Sedro-Woolley is a great place to live and work. It's friendly, you can walk down the street and people say hi whether they know you or not, and all the business owners will stop and say hi. It's just a great feeling.
Sedro-Woolley in Skagit County is a little hidden gem, and people don't realize how beautiful it is and what a great place it is to work and raise families.
The future of Sedro-Woolley is what we choose to make it. I think we're on a great momentum.
The work that the ICMA is doing around the world is on full display in Ukraine, where ICMA officials are working tirelessly with Ukrainian municipalities to reintegrate veterans into their communities by using some successful strategies from right here in the United States. Colonel Retired Lance O'Brien is here in studio with us now to explain. Pleasure to have you today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Can you start off by just kind of setting the stage for us? What are things like in the Ukraine right now for these veterans?
They're in a full-fledged war. Their nation is mobilized to fight the aggressors in Russia, and truthfully, the only veterans that they have right now are those who've returned from the front, either through catastrophic injuries or there was a family issue that they had to return for. So they are planning right now for the return of the veterans. You know, large municipalities, tens of thousands are coming back, all the way down to smaller municipalities that may have 5 or 10. But it is a huge problem, and to say it's a challenge because of the invasion, you know, they're fighting a war at the same time. So it's to say it's challenging would be an understatement.
And you're talking about a large number of veterans.
Large number, like I said, we have some friends here from Lviv, and I think, and they said between 30 and 50,000 are forward right now. So just imagine that, you know, hopefully, you know, in the future hostilities will cease and those veterans can return. But that number of veterans coming back all at the same time, they had to be prepared for that.
So the initiative that the ICMA has taken part of, you guys have 3 specific priorities that you're tackling. Can you list those?
I can, and really it just came from my own experience, having been a garrison commander and dealing with veterans integration or transition assistance. And the number one thing that we saw as their first need is access to care, both physical and mental rehabilitation. But we also have to take a look at it. The veterans are different, and they're coming back to families, so they need to look at, you know, substance abuse issues. With substance abuse, you'll probably see an increase in domestic violence. So those are all things, and that access to care that those veterans will need immediately. The second one is providing safe space. So veterans together feel safe, just based on, you know, shared hardships and things like that. And I can say from my own experience, you know, returning from deployments, you know, somebody would ask me, so what was it like over there? And it's just really hard to put that into words for people who haven't been in those types of situations. But around veterans, I'm comfortable. We don't have to talk about that. We all know what we've done. And then finally, probably the most important part is finding purpose. What is that thing that they want to do and wake up every day and be passionate about? Because finding purpose, we like to say, by a veteran finding purpose, you're going to have a thriving veteran. So that's what we're trying to get to, that thriving veteran.
And so you guys have already had a successful workshop.
Yes.
Can you tell me what that was about and why it was a success?
The people from the local municipalities from within Ukraine. We also had a representative of the Associated Amalgamated Territories was there as well. It was successful because they all deemed this as an issue that's going to be for them in the future, and they were able to come together, and whether they knew it or not, they already had the answers. They just had to talk with other municipalities within Ukraine, and they understood we've all kind of got the same issue. It'll be a little bit different and unique based on locations and what certain cities can provide or what they can't provide. They were able to talk about it and understand that at the local government level, they do have answers to some of these issues. They will need help, of course, from either the oblast or state, the region, and the national government, but they were energized. Okay. And they were taking it back to Ukraine, and they were working with their local municipalities, and those municipalities were staying in contact with one another. So, and I think the next chance to make it successful is to grow that workshop and include others so they can kind of understand those three principles. How are you receiving the veterans? How are you assimilating them? And then how are you further integrating them back into the community?
Well, thank you so much for all that you are doing to help those veterans, and thank you for your service, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
We finish up this week at the Gateway of New Mexico. The city of Gallup is the gateway to the state and a crossroads for diverse culture. Let's take a look.
The city of Gallup was incorporated in 1881, so we have a long history with the railroad.
It's also a border to the largest Native American reservation, and that's the Navajo Nation. We also have Zuni close to us as well, the Zuni Pueblo, and ICMA.
Gallup is really at the geographic center of this tremendous Native American artistic hub. So much of the Native artwork that's displayed and sold across the globe is actually produced in our area.
Gallup is located in a perfect location when it comes to transportation and logistics. So for Gallup, it's about location and transportation assets.
For the future of Gallup, I'm optimistic. It's a great community. I think Gallup is going to grow, and it's going to be a steady growth. We've got a good future ahead of us.
Well, as we wrap up an exciting week here in Pittsburgh, I've got the official mascot of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Iceberg, helping us look ahead to 2025. We're going to trade the ice for the sun. Here are your 2025 Planning Committee chairs to tell us about our next host city.
We are so excited to be hosting the 2025 Annual ICMA Conference in Tampa Bay, Tampa, Florida, October 25th through the 29th.
Outside of the meeting, you come to Tampa Bay and there's so many things to do. From downtown Tampa and the many things that they have, aquariums, museums, baseball, football, but the region is amazing. And so you come right across the bay before or after the conference, and you got 35 miles of beach. Some of the most famous beaches like Clearwater Beach. You go down to St. Petersburg, there's arts and culture. So there's so many things in addition to the conference.
And then on the other side of the bay, we have a newly developed Riverwalk, which is ranked #2 by Today Magazine, USA Today Magazine, 2.6 mile Riverwalk. We have 30 Michelin-rated restaurants within the city of Tampa area. What you got to understand, this is a unique opportunity because Pinellas County and Hillsborough County, we work closely together on numerous initiatives all the time. So you're not just coming to one place, you're coming to the Tampa Bay area, which includes Hillsborough County and Pinellas County. So as Barry said, there's just a ton of things for folks.
And you're going to be on Water Street in Tampa, and it is completely redeveloped. It is amazing, and there's just so many fun things outside to do.
Now, what we want you to remember, come early, stay late. Pristine beaches on Clearwater, in downtown Clearwater Beach. You have the cruise terminal. You can stay late, do a quick cruise to the Bahamas afterwards. remember, you know, the conference ends on October 29th. Halloween is 2 days later. We were ranked one of the #1 areas in the nation for Halloween celebrations, you know, family-oriented celebrations in the country. So that's just so much that, you know, we can offer.
Having it to be part of Tampa Bay, we get to showcase what we do to so many visitors every single year. You know, outside of like Orlando, we're one of the top destinations, you know, in Florida. And that's because there's so many things to do. And it is a region. And so it is exciting to have that because we're very proud of what we're able to do.
Barry and I have been taking our notes. I mean, Columbus, Austin, you know, we're checking out what's happening here in Pittsburgh, and we're going to be ready. It's going to be exciting. We're looking forward to it.
Go Buccaneers, go Rays. I mean, a couple years ago, they called us Tampa Bay, okay? And there's a reason.
Bucks hopefully will be in town, University of South Florida. And for those of you who have never seen a championship hockey team, the Lightning will be in town also.
And that's right downtown where
Right
the
downtown.
conference is going to be.
And with that, it's a wrap on ICMA TV for 2024. Thanks for joining us all this week as we've commemorated 100 years of the ICMA Code of Ethics. We've had the centennial celebration of putting the I in ICMA, and we've talked with all of those in our industry enacting change and propelling the profession forward. We may be wrapping up here, but our coverage is always on. So make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media channels so that you can find any segment or portion of ICMA TV whenever you want. Safe travels home, everyone. We can't wait to see you in Tampa for ICMA 2025.